Hey everybody, it's Bust with Bust Builds Decks number 43. Today we'll be battling with our 3-star Ashe up against the 4-star Aurelion Soul in the Starforger quest. And so, look at that big number on Ashe. She's got that 30 at the bottom. I wasn't expecting this to be a thing between the previous video and now, but there's a little window in that previous video and now that I didn't record, and that was us going through the reward screen. And I didn't realize having the 10x relic multiplier on experience on that 3.5-star daily quest was just going to give us 20k experience, and it immediately took Ashe from, like, I can't remember if she was at like 18 or 19 or if she was at 21 or 22 or so, but took her all the way up to 30. We've got that full champion power unlocked. I'm very excited to see how that feels and how that goes. And so, to get you in tune with our Ashe, first and foremost, we always talk about those 3 pillars of Path of Champions, right? Your ability to scale, your ability to rally, and your ability to have removal spells. And Ashe, to me, has about like 1.75 of the 3 pillars all on her own. As far as the rally goes, Ashe does it right. Now, it's not a rally in the get the attack token back sense, but if you think of what we want to do with rallies, we attack with like 100 power of units, our opponent blocks, we don't deal any damage, the turn ends, the opponent gets to refill, and we don't really advance the board that much. And so where the rally comes into play is we make that attack with 100 power of units, clear out the opposing board, rally. Now that we get to attack again, there's nothing to stop the damage from rolling through. And so Ashe is very similar to that in the sense that she makes everything unblockable. And if your opponent can't block, you kind of eliminate the need for that first attack, right? You eliminate the need for the rally because you're doing it all in that first swing. And so I think she's kind of okay in that sense. Where the 0.75 of the pillars comes in is in her removal suite. I think the flash freezes are quite strong. I really like being able to shut down a lot of units at burst speed defensively, while also being strong on offense. Like, it's a very versatile thing that we get out of the flash freeze or frostbite abilities, but the downside is the removal is not permanent. And so if we flash freeze our opponent's 40-40 Aurelion Soul, it's still going to be on board, reducing the cost of spells. It's still going to be back to 40-40 the following turn. And so we're a touch weak in that sense. I have some answers to that upcoming, but that's where Ashe is fairly weak in terms of removals with the longevity aspect of it. That place where Ashe is really lacking, though, is the scaling. That's what we're going to really be focusing on in this deck. The thing that I think is the big weak point for Ashe is it's very easy to assemble like a 6-strong unit board, completely unblockable. You swing in for like 30, but you need to deal 75. And so you have to roll into your next attack token. You have the full 6-unit board. You attack for 30. You still need to do another 15. And so you have to like really trudge through and deal a lot of damage. You have what feels like exceptionally powerful boards and exceptionally powerful board states, but it's not enough to actually finish the game. And in the earlier level quests, that's not so bad, right? But once you get up to, say, fighting Lysandra and you flash freeze down a Watcher, they still get to attack and nuke your deck. And so that's the thing that I'm really looking to focus in on with Ashe, is helping her generate a lot of stats on board, help her out with that scaling. And so to point to that, we have the relics within this. There's not a lot of scaling relics within the game, or at least that I have access to. And so I want to try out this kit today. I think this is more tuned for Aurelion Soul than some of the other adventures. But first and foremost, we're using the Laurent Blade Rack. We used that in the previous video. I'm very happy to have it as kind of the defensive measure for Ashe, in the sense that it lets us pick and choose the combats we want to get into. Ashe should be able to attack every turn of the game. If at worst she's just like targeting down the opposing strongest unit on board, which will then be quicksanded or flash freezed. And so the spot that I tend to worry about running into with Ashe is, say we have 3 units on board, the opponent has 3 units on board, their weakest one gets frostbitten, we attack with Ashe, frostbite the strong one, but the middle one is there still ready to interact and take down the Ashe. And so the blade rack with Challenger on Ashe lets her survive in those situations while still scaling up towards her level 2. And so that's why I like the blade rack. Anything defensive probably fits the bill for you. If you want to use something like Guardian Angel, more power to you. The other two relics that we're using is kind of a 2-card combo, right? The Archangel Staff to give us the 3 spell mana every turn, along with the Grand General's Counterplan to put the copy of Ashe into our hand every turn, which will then flip into Flash Freeze. And so at the worst, we're hoping to just cast a Flash Freeze every single turn of the game. At best, we can kind of use the Archangel's Staff mana in the most effective way, the Grand General's Counterplan only if we need to, or it is kind of a backup plan if things are looking dicey for Ashe, right? So if we put the fleeting copy in hand, trade the active one off the board, we can still put the fleeting copy down later. And so we'll see how this works here. You know, I look towards things like the Stalker's Blade and stuff for Ashe, but I still ultimately worry that, you know, as we run into a 12-12 champion on the opposing side of the board, those strikes just aren't enough. And so I'm hoping that the Flash Freezes and the Frostbites will help carry us through those situations. And so that is it. That's what we're doing today. Where's old Dragon Lady at? There we go. We got that adventure up. Jump on into battle. Ooh, it's just going to be all legendaries the whole way, right? You get up to level 30, that's what happens. every node, all legendaries, duplicates across the board. Let's see what turns up. So, into the powers. What do we got? Anything interesting? There's a legendary, right? The first time an ally dies each round, revive it. Sure. You know, it's not really fixing any of our problems, right? We do have the ability to just kind of like slam all of our units into the opposing board and not have too many repercussions, but you know, we are looking for specific things to kind of increase our combat effectiveness. This doesn't do it, but I think it's probably also too good to just pass up. So we move on up against Swain. He gets the foes get +1/+1 at the end of the turn. Let's see what we can do. All right, and so the Omen Hawks, no need to keep now since we'll draw them in our opening hand. I'm looking to just take a full mulligan here, I think. See if we can't pick up some of the other 2-drops or like a double Omen Hawk hand or something. I guess it is kind of tough to get a double Omen Hawk hand, huh? No. No, it's not. Just get right in here, my friend. Get ready for combat. It's going to be very interesting with the relic or the power that we picked up with these Omen Hawks dying and then just coming right back. I'm on board. But commanding presence against Swain here. I think we're going to end this one very easily. At least hopefully we get to show you some of the sweet combos before we get too far in. Just dropping in 6/6 Ice Veil Archers is a good start. Just the mountain of stats rolling through. All right, but you can kind of see the idea that we have with this Grand General's Counterplan, right? We've got the Flash Freeze in hand. We've got the full 3 mana. It just gives us another way to just interact with the opponent every turn of the game. And then if we have something better to do than just get the Flash Freeze on board, you know, more power to us. We can just cast it every turn as well with the item that's coming out of this. I didn't realize the Hextech Fabricator was going to be on it, but, you know, it gives us... How, did we not get a kill that turn? God damn it. But with the Fabricator and such, you know, we have that little bit of opportunity to just do something. We should never be completely lacking in things to do as long as Ashe is on board. Now this here is my major concern with this round. You can see the Swain come down. We've dealt with the Swain, sort of, right? We could have waited till he attacked. Ideally, it's just not going to matter this game, but he comes down and he's huge. We've got him down to 0, so he's not going to be combat effective, but he still does like the stuns for damage to face and stuff. And so it's not completely removed, it's mostly removed, and it's just something that's a minor pain point from these Flash Freeze abilities. But nonetheless, good stuff. Easy battle against Swain. He can't handle our 30 champion level. Feels good. So what do we got in here? Harsh Winds is always good, and these other cards kind of suck, and so I'm kind of leaning towards taking it. The thing that you really get value out of Harsh Winds is that idea that we've been bringing about the whole way, as to where you can use it offensively or defensively, right? It's commonly just to shut down a big attack from the opponent, but we can use it to push in an Ashe unblockable attack. We can use it to assist with some of the challenges. It's very powerful in that sense, and so I think I'm on board with picking it up because it's another card that I also like just stacking items onto. And so we'll see how it plays out. You can run into the issue of having, too much of the same thing, to where just having a bunch of flash freezes doesn't have any variety. So if we do need to actually get that Swain off of the board, we're not doing anything to help in that sense, but I think it'll be okay, at least to this point. So, all right, what do we got here? I'm usually okay with Lucians, and he's kind of interesting in the sense that we have that that Mordekaiser ability, that thing that's just going to come back and resummon our units, and we can give all of our units Challenger from Ashe and stuff. I'm kind of interested in it. I also like that it keeps our deck cheap, in the sense that everything in here is cheaper than Ashe, and so we should be able to play it before Ashe hits the board. And so I usually like Lucian. Otherwise, Nautilus, I'm not playing deep, and Varus isn't really an Ashe combo. We don't have enough targets for Varus to really pop off, and so I think I'm good enough with just picking up Lucian. We don't get any super awesome combos out of him, but he does bring rallies to the party and the like, and so I think we'll get good usage out of him. So moving forward, I want to go to this shop. The gold chest is whatever. The item chest isn't that bad. We can pick either Zoe or pick Poppy, and I think I would rather just fight Poppy. Maybe that's a mistake since we don't actually have removal spells. All right, we'll go to fight the Poppy battle. I think that, like, if we draw Ashe, we can do enough to keep her units off of the board to where we don't have to worry a ton. Okay, so how do we feel about these? I'm kind of interested in the Might. It's not a card that our deck particularly needs, right? I always feel like Ashe is enough to just punch through the damage, but, if we're going to look for scaling and we're not going to find it and say, like, casting for Demacia and then rallying, if we're going to just say play big units instead, getting that Titanic unit could be the answer that we're looking for. And so I'm not completely opposed to this Might. Unyielding Spirit I don't want, and Take Heart I don't really want. Like, Take Heart we can, probably just never activate. Unyielding Spirit's too expensive. And so I think we'll go with the Might, see if we can't do something with these big Titanic units, and have that be kind of our path to big numbers, Or you just take a She Who Wanders, right? No, I don't think that's on the table. But from what remains here, I'm a little interested in the Remembrance. Being able to pick and choose our combats with Ashe on board could potentially make this only cost like 2 mana, which isn't a terrible deal, but at the end of the day, there's like a lot of bad cards that can just get hit with the Remembrance, and so we'll skip over it. It's another one of those places where I'm not entirely certain how Path of Champions functions, but I'm always like reminded back to the days of Expedition and how the card pools worked, and it's like, okay, we've picked up a Lucian, and now we're going to start seeing like this Slayer's style of stuff. I'm not certain if that's kind of caked into the Path of Champions, or if we're just like randomly seeing the Remembrance and thinking back to the times of old and having some kind of confirmation bias apply, but I wouldn't be surprised if that was completely a thing, but I really don't know. But what else do we have here? Disarmed is fine. Now, I'm not entirely certain how this works with Ashe. So if opponent plays a 1/1 unit when we have Disarmed on the board, if this counts towards making it a 0 power unit and giving us a tick up. But it's still a strong card nonetheless. I'm willing to go ahead and just take it. We could burn like one reroll out here and see if we get anything that helps push us down to a particular theme. Nothing too strong. That Remembrance coming right back. Succumb to the Cold, don't want. I don't think this is enough here. I'm trying to eyeball this acceleration gate, but I don't think we'll ever make enough use out of it. And so let's leave it behind. And all right, coming forward, I think I would prefer to battle Tahm Kench. He's going to run us into this champion item chest, and I do want to get stacks of Ashe within our deck. We really need to have Ashe every single game, and so putting that stack onto her should certainly help. And so moving on to old Tahm, let's get to battle. All right, next set of battles. Interesting stuff here. And so, if you didn't quite catch the sped up game previously, like I have this idea of things that we're going to be able to do with this deck to where we get Lucian and Senna on the board along with Ashe, and then we're able to say challenge Senna into another unit, force her to die, you know, sad day for you, and then get that Lucian flipped. And like trying to kind of play to that theme, I'm a little interested in the Blinding Assault, just giving us a like scout speed way to come in and like generate a rally. And so there's like a little bit of things there that I think we could pull off with the Blinding Assault. Maybe that's a little off base, but I was kind of thinking of it. The other thing here is we have the Caught in the Cold. Like, we don't need more Frostbites at this point, but it does have Storm Calling attached to it, and I'm like a little interested in what we can do if we stack some copies of Storm Calling in our deck. At the end of the day, I think this is probably just a reroll. Like, the only thing that really keeps me interested in the Blinding Assault is we can cast it off of spell mana, and we have a lot of spell mana, and so there may be something there, but I think I'm just going to take a roll and see if we can't get something a little bit more on point. And Harsh Winds with the draw unit sounds perfect. And so, welcome to the deck. Hopefully we don't stack too many of you today, but I think you'll be useful. Now, I definitely want Ashe. Probably just go with Fearsome. Like, these aren't very good items, but I don't want her to be more expensive. And, well, maybe this is one that we actually just put on Lucian. A Lucian with the Radiant Plate, we can still play him on the first turn. We still get all of the mana back out of him. And he's a little bit more combat effective at that point. Maybe it's okay. Like, I really just have in my head that, you know, we've drawn Ashe every game and it's been very simple, but when we don't draw Ashe, we're going to struggle. And so, like, just stacking all of these items to get more copies of Ashe in our deck feels pretty good, but it is a strong Lucian. I think we'll take it. Now, do we want to cut anything out? If we scroll down to expensive land, Alpha Wildclaw's kind of whatever. I could see it go and not being upset about it. Shared Spoils could go. I don't think any of these cards are bad enough to cut. Let's just go to the shop. I've been playing a lot of Vex on the side, and Vex certainly has a lot of cards you'd like to cut out of his deck. So with these, though, interesting with the Three Sisters. Three Sisters does give us the guaranteed removal in the Entomb. I really like the utility that brings to our deck while still being able to flash freeze. And so that's certainly on the table. Not opposed to picking up the barrier for the Icevale Archer. Just the one copy, so we pick up the item but not stack it within our deck. And I think that that's a good place to be. The one power from Reunited we're gonna snatch up as well. And so let's do this. All right, the one copy of Icevale Archer, all the copies of Three Sisters. I like where we're at now. I would have been like a little bit happier if we'd taken the Ashe with draw a unit attached to it, like instead of taking the Lucian with the +3/+3. But I think, excuse me, I think this will still be strong. But all right, up against Jhin, he's got the Tryndamere Nexus. Let's go. See if we can't take him down. Just take the full mulligan here. gonna be drawing Omen Hawk and Senna anyways. They just delightfully come right back to hand. And looky there. Big Stat Lucian says, I'm here to party, bro. I got your back here for the early game.
Don't get in my way.
That's 6-4. Coming down early, ready to do big things. I don't think we need to open here. It's like if we get hit with the stage hand, how bad is it?
What's the plan?
Doesn't seem that bad. We just doesn't have anything. Is this gonna be Jhin like dropping 2 Blades Edges onto our Omen Hawk? Going face with it. Okay. Oh, he's just killing Senna for us, and then she's just gonna come right back. I don't know, fam. That's a strategy, you know? That's a strategy. Whenever you hear one of your friends just say like some complete dumb like tomfoolery, and you don't want to like hurt their feelings because they're your friend, you just say, oh, that's a good strategy. That's a good idea. Interesting. Interesting was the one that we used in the workplace. Whenever somebody would say just something completely off base and wrong. Huh. Interesting. I like your concept there. It's a good idea. Nope. It was not good ideas. It was not. And so we should be able to just like freely add units to the board here, right? We can drop in Ashe if he wants to attack with Jhin. Then we can just block, right? This game is just so done at this point. Wow. I don't know, man. I don't know what Jhin was up to today. Easiest game of, oh god, that fucking Tryndamere Nexus. At least we have a rally in hand. I forget about that all the time. I guess I shouldn't sit around and talk about what dum-dums people are and then just completely forget about the core mechanic of the game, but it happens, you know? It happens.
I am frightened, but I am ready.
Embrace it. Your adoring public awaits.
Right, he brings the stun onto Lucian. It's not gonna matter. We can still make our attack for the round, throw away somebody. Can we throw away somebody? Everybody's too strong to be thrown away. What a tough day. We can summon. Our Radiant Strike is going to summon a 1-cost unit from our followers. I'm kind of hoping that it's just bad enough to generate a rally for us here. The sacrificial Spritlings hitting the board. Let me make sure we're frostbiting the correct stuff. That frostbite's going to land on the stage hand, so we need to put the Maker in front of our unit, and that'll get us the rally. All right, we're getting there. Zing him. Teamwork right there. Made the dream work.
Now begins a new
It's
era.
interesting. I was curious how much like the Ashe Frostbite ability was going to be a hindrance to just throwing away units to Lucian. And it's kind of a double-edged sword, right, in the sense that we need Ashe to pass out the Challenger, but then she also comes out and just flash freezes a bunch of stuff. And so, interesting how that plays itself out. But with these, I'm always on board with a Shadow Totem. Again, it could play well with Lucian, but I'm just going to continue to stack these Ashes. It works just, fine with her. As she comes on board, generates an additional copy. That gets additional Frostbite. She can challenge down the strongest unit the opponent has. A lot of decent value coming out of that Shadow Totem. All right, into the powers. What do we got? Feral Prescience, don't want. Grow my power to match my health, I don't like. Let's take a reroll on these. Anything good here? Not really. We do get some minor usage out of the higher education. We have a bit of card draw if we want. I think I'm just going to take the husks, right? We can, I mean, I guess ideally, we're just playing Lucian as the first unit of the game and then getting Lucian with 2 husks. Fine, I guess. I'm having trouble getting excited about it, but yeah, it's fine, I guess. Whatever. Now, what do we got up here? We got a Grand Plaza. We got an item chest or a healer. We don't need to go to the healer. We already decided we're not going to cut any of our cards, so it's either the item chest or the Grand Plaza. The Grand Plaza, I can't 100% remember. It lets you put Challenger on units, or it lets you pick up like a Remembrance or a For the Fallen or something. It's not stuff that we need when Ashe gives all of our units Challengers. So I think we're going to pick and choose whoever we want to battle and then go to the item chest. I think we could probably go toe-to-toe with Karma. What is that? Gangplank has... Oh, it's a duplicate Karma? Let's pass on duplicate Karma. It'd probably be a fun match, but I think the Gangplank is going to be the easier victory. Okay, and so here, nothing too exciting. I'm going to take the Averosian Trapper. It's a card I don't cut from our deck because the card draw aspect to it, it's one of those kind of tough things to me in the sense, like, I've been playing a lot of Vex recently, and there's the Landmark that's super shitty, but it draws a card. And it's tough for me in that, you know, being a card that just cycles on its own, there's not a, like, real reason to cut it from your deck because it's never dead, right? It's not like drawing a just completely useless card because it cycles, draws another card, and replaces itself, does a little bit of something, and you get some incremental value there. But the thing with it is, though, is like you typically play it as like the last card out of your hand. You just play it when it's like, okay, well, I guess it's time to cycle because I don't have anything else to spend my mana on. And so it clogs up your hand during the important turns of the game. And that's kind of my thing with Averosian Trapper. It's like I never really want to cut it because he draws a card, but he does end up clogging up your hand quite a few times. And so I guess adding it in with the free attack isn't that bad. We can look to just cut it out of our deck later. And so we'll have to see if that's something that that brings itself to fruition. And so with this, definitely do not want to Grifter's deck Flash Freeze. I did want to make a little bit of mention that it's very valuable adding these items to Flash Freezes because that's what we're going to get every turn of the game out of Ashe, but this is not a card we want to be just naturally drawing out of our deck, and so we don't want the Flash Freeze. The Rhinefang Wolf upgrade is fine. I would prefer to have the Wolf over the Alpha Wild Claw since it does give us a reasonable way to kill an Aurelion Soul, right? We can double Flash Freeze Aurelion Soul down to 0 power and then kill it with the Rhinefang Wolf, and so adding those in doesn't feel terrible. Now moving forward, the Ashe battle is annoying or a duplicate Sejuani. I tend to prefer to just dodge the duplicates whenever we get the chance, and so let's go up here and take the Ashe mirror match. Alright, so moving forward, I think I'm good with these mana deposit Rhinefang Wolves. Like, we're getting to the point to where so much of our deck is free, we really need to focus in on a way to draw more cards. And so having the strike on him is good, like the strike draw card in addition to being free. But we're going to start looking for like something that adds an invoke or another one of those Titanic adders, you know, whatever we can to ensure that we just don't have a hand. Like if you could watch some of these previous games where at the very end our hand is like flash freeze, and 3 harsh winds, right? We just need like a little bit of variety in what we can do. So with the powers, target an ally, give it a barrier, fine. We might find something for that. The Relentless Pursuit upgrade I'm not opposed to. I don't really want to add Relentless Pursuits to our deck, but picking up 1 copy and then enhancing the Lucian flips as well is kind of nice. I think we're just going to keep going for the big dog, though. The big dog stack down here I'm definitely interested in. Alright, let's get the 1 copy of Relentless Pursuit. And we'll move on from there. And so there is another shop down here after Caitlyn, but we just spent all of our money. So we'll come in and battle Azir, hit up the epic item chests before we battle against Lulu. And so at this point, I feel like our deck is just pretty good to go. And so I think I'm going to just look to add in the Fading Memories here. It's free. It does work a little bit with Illusion. It works with our Mordekaiser power relic. And so I think it'll be a reasonable thing, especially as we can just kind of get it out of our hand at will. So moving forward, I'm really happy with these Rhinefang Wolves, but I don't want it to come on the board and just immediately strike. And so doubling dice on the Radiant Strike seems okay. The thing, again, I'm kind of really struggling with this deck is finding ways to kill off our units to pop off with Lucian and pop off with his rally ability. And like this seems like the way to do it. And so I'm going to add in the ability there, pick up the healer. Kind of interested in just cutting this Abrosian Trapper now. It just feels like it's going to be a waste of space. Now we'll come into the duplicate Lulu battle. Right. No Lucians in that opener. Sad day for us. There's our friend. Good deal. Ashe comes to the party as well. It's kind of starting to like to see. And so one of the interesting things that's happening with our Lucian here and the Mordekaiser ability, it's not as apparent since opponent whimsied our husk, but Lucian comes on the board, he eats both of the husks, and then a husk immediately resummons itself due to the ability. And so we have been getting our Lucian kind of turbocharged very quick. And we've also seen that be quite useful with Ashe, in the sense that Ashe is summoning the ephemeral copy. Then if that's the first unit to die for the turn, the ephemeral copy is going to resummon back to the board and then summon another ephemeral. And so very, very strong combos that we have going with some of these cards. Right, so the Elusive Husk is going to die. It's going to come right back. Gives us a great way to really turbocharge this Lucian. I was thinking of playing Ashe for the turn. I think that's okay. We probably struggle to actually kill enough stuff for Senna to work this round, and so we'll just try and take the value Ashe here and pick up additional Ashes. So we're not going to, right, because of the husks. Sad day. I think we might have just burnt through a rally as well.
Stand together. Swiftly now.
We lethal yet? What a wild place to be. We can do some of this stuff. Oh no, we didn't. We didn't burn our rally yet. Okay. Ashe will flip on attack.
Show me a target.
Oh, I should have Oracle's eyed that. I'm not certain if you can tell. I'm pretty certain that the Ashe should be random at that point. And you wouldn't really know, right? Looking at the Oracle's eye to see who she's going to frostbite. But it's a little sloppy, I guess. We could have just won the game that turn. It's okay, though. We'll go for the highlight reel with our Alpha Wildclaw. We haven't even played him yet this round, and so... oh, it's just going to be too expensive for him, huh? Rough day. Rough day at the office for Alpha Wildclaw.
Don't duck on my account.
The time is right. Strike now.
Alright, so sure, we put some units on board. We'll just play Omen Hawk, collect our rally, get out of here.
Patrol 1, Patrol 2, Patrol 3.
We're not going to get out of here, are we? Let's gotta drop the Radiant Strikes now.
Strike true.
That should be enough, I think.
Doubt.
He's got to block our Lucian. Okay. Slopfest. Old man Bust is losing it out here. It's the trap. You know, the deck gets so strong that you just assume you'll never lose and stop paying attention. And then they come in and zing you. That's where they get you. Okay, so anyone interesting here? I'd mentioned wanting to pick up the draw a spell card, but like after I got some of those Rimefang Wolves on the board, I just didn't think it was that necessary. So I'll add in the Focusing Crystal onto Ashe. It's the most reasonable one of these left. Maybe we'll get a decent power. Don't really need it, but maybe something cool. Round start stun, incredibly strong. So now we'll go the rest of the way up the mountain. Since we aren't cutting cards, I'll probably come over to the shop, see if we can't just pick up a nice epic item or something, but don't really need it. Like, I could definitely see an argument just going to the healer as like a safety valve, but you don't usually take a lot of damage against Nautilus anyways, and so we'll go in the Fizz route straight up the mountain. We'll see you at Aurelion Sol. All right, getting up to that final battle. I think I'm just gonna take hot and the cold. I'm not. I guess we'll just load up the harsh winds. Fine. I see that summon a Poro stuff, and I always worry that it's just going to mess with us. But one of the easier Aurelion Soul powers with the grant the foes units +1/+1. We'll see what happens. Let's see what we can do. Feeling pretty decent about it. Feel like we got the combos we need, the power to get through, and so let's see how we can get there. Let's take the full mulligan again. We just want Lucian and Ashe in every single hand. Gonna maximize our chances to draw them. Double Lucian start, no Ashe. It'll be okay though. I assure you. With the Moon Dreamer.
Are stories in the sky.
Push back the darkness.
It's not a rope, it's a snake.
We got to go ahead and drop the Omen Hawk, right? I don't want to lose our husk to the Serpent. Makes it a little awkward next turn, right? We're a little bit short of flipping Lucian, but probably wouldn't have been able to pick and choose that anyways. Right, so Evelyn hits the board, lead off with the Rhinefang Wolves because we're going to get all that mana right back. I think we should be in good shape. We will want to kill this Infinite Mind Splitter. No thank you for the stuns that you're trying to bestow upon our team.
A true failure is welcome.
So no Ashe, but let's be real. We're looking pretty strong, am I right?
Bring in the heat.
You are right, Bust. This is what I was hoping to have strengthen the Rhinefang Wolves with, right? You could see us come in and take down these 0 power units. I know that we've got this big mass of keywords and everything, but this is how I was envisioning us being able to take down an Aurelion Soul, right? He's going to hit the board. We have to flash freeze once to pop the spell shield. We flash freeze again to drop the power to 0, and then we can get a takedown with the wolf. And so I was very glad to come in and add all of those to our deck. Did we just win the game this turn? Be kind of tough to do. Let's add Senna in just and see if he does something weird. Right, we're fresh to go with the Relentless Pursuit next turn, and so even without Ashe hitting the board, we have a lot of opportunity for success here. Everybody has challengers, so we can kind of pick and choose who we take down and get into fights with as well. Need 2 deaths to get a rally out of Lucian, and we do have Galio, which just get a free takedown on.
My arrow won't miss.
Go ahead, scare me.
I mean, that seems fine to me. Coming in for 28, and then we can just burn a Relentless Pursuit after the fact. The Wolves coming in, taking down these 0 power bros. Sad day to be Galio, huh? Sad day to be Galio, facing down these quick attacking dogs. Ooh, a silence. We might still just kill through the silence.
Back to sleep.
We can technically just deal infinite damage though, right? We picked up the Radiant Strikes. We could just doubling dice it all day and get to infinite. How much damage do we have? So if nobody has Challenger at the moment, we could play Ashe to make sure that we get one. So if we say overwrite Lucian, because he's our smallest damage unit, we'd have 5, 10, 19, 22. 22 plus 8 is 30. So we're going to be short. But do we want a Relentless Pursuit anyways? Probably. We have 2, right? So this should just be done. We'll Relentless Pursuit. We'll actually just hook Endless Vox with the Rhinefang Wolf to get the natural kill. And then rally and go in again. You all remember when Relentless Pursuit was a 3 mana fast spell? Why it took people so long to realize how bonkers that was. Beyond me. That nonsense was running around for years. Alright. Good stuff though. Easy battle, easy run, easy time for us. Good stuff along the way. And so I think that was a pretty easy go. This level 30 Ashe was pretty strong up the entirety of the mountain. And I think that this game plan that we took forth here is good for what we're doing, right? If you're looking at this in the sense of, okay, I'm going to use this Grand General's counter plan to just negate the opposing unit, the opposing big champion from our opponent, then, I mean, you're in pretty good shape at that point. You do have to worry about the champions that just have natural non-combat abilities, so like Karma, Seraphine, Aurelion Soul, and the like, but I think that we were primed and ready to take that down quite well. And so we'll be interested to see how it feels up against Lysandra. Again, this is my first level 30 champion, and so I'm not certain how different things are supposed to feel once you're this powered up. I'm used to coming out here and battling with one rare relic and one common relic and calling it a day. And so I'll be interested to see how that goes, because this one wasn't really that challenging. So nonetheless, good stuff. I had fun with that. I hope you did too, because that is going to do it for us today. So hope everyone enjoyed the video. Maybe learned a thing or two along the way. You had a good time watching. This is Bustin' Me. Thank you for being here.